My sister messaged me this morning.
Hello.
Hey, Terry, it's Sean.
Hey, what's up, bro?
I'm doing horrible.
Uh, well, that
My
sucks.
predators are still out of it, and now I've got state patrol officers that keep driving by my house.
Oh,
Of course, I've been speaking out about the state patrol officers. This is not their jurisdiction.
yeah,
Of course, that jurisdiction only matters one way.
yeah. You can go outside and play for a little bit if you want. We'll go to Walmart as soon as I'm done talking to Sean.
Tara, I've
Slamming
called.
that door.
Tara, I've called every mandatory reporter that I can. I've done everything that I can to tell them what's going on. It is against the law for them not to report it.
Right.
Now, I need someone in my family to take this seriously and make a big stink about the fact that this is immoral and wrong. I don't have uh, any way to defend myself. I have nobody actually in my corner. For the last 5 years, I've been trying. I mean, I got a
All I can
home.
tell him is that you're not. That you're not. What is it?
Tara, am I honest?
Yes, you're honest. What you're saying is the truth, and all I can do is tell him that. But them constantly harassing you is. I can't tell him. All I can do is tell him to stop. Other than that, I literally cannot stand in front of them and stop them to do it.
I'm well
Other than
aware
that,
of
I can't
that.
do that.
I'm well aware of that. I was gonna try to go up and help you out with your situation, but with this going on, I have to be scared to leave the house. I was gonna go to a friend's on the other end of the state who was gonna help review this and actually help me turn it in, but
Right.
I can't. I mean, first of all, with my vehicle having issues starting, depending on how cold it is outside,
Right.
I mean, literally I'm being cut off from the help that I need to turn in my predators by my little literal predators. The thing is that these people are being predatory because they're mandatory reporters. By law, they have to report this abuse. And I've got recordings from all of these mandated reporters where they're blowing me off and not looking at evidence. I've written reports. I'm told, oh, well, we can't do anything unless you write a report. I've got hundreds of police reports that I've written.
Yeah.
Also, that whole thing with Ed telling you that there's military drones flying over your house, you've got to know that that's insanity. There's no military drones flying over your house. They're not going to invest that kind of time and energy in Ed saying that his cousin's in the Air Force and he can get a drone at any time. That's just insane. I got to tell you that straight up. I mean, whether it's delusional or whether he's trying to sound impressive, it's you understand how that scares me to have him being the one that's helping you.
Why is that? Come on, Zena.
I mean, if he's good with computers, that part is great, but yeah, I'm certain there's no military drones flying over your house pointing
Oh
at your
well,
stuff
there
like
are
he's saying.
some, but it's not military. No.
But see, that I can believe. I mean, they've
Yeah.
got
Yeah. No.
drones up at Walmart.
Yeah. No. Yeah. No. It's not military drones. No. There are drones, yes, but
Now that's the thing is with him trying to push that they were military drones and then trying to say he's got a cousin. Like, I got cousins too. That
yeah.
doesn't
No.
mean that
It's.
I have access to a Sherman tank. That doesn't mean that I can ask him to borrow an Abrams for a week.
Yeah. I know. Right. Yeah. No. Um. Okay. I'm trying to think here.
As far as getting you money for insurance, I've got no way to get there, and the chances of me being prevented from getting there are actually pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean, if they're driving by my house that frequently,
Right. Um.
they drove by my house twice in like a 2-minute period. I don't know
Wow.
which
Well,
officer
that's
it
what
is.
I was dealing with my stalkers for a while. I mean, they still are, except for they're just not doing it in the alley. They're doing it in the front since I put the cameras up. So,
I'm smoking my tobacco out of an aluminum pipe. I'm taking the cigarettes that I smoked last week and putting them in an aluminum foil pipe because I got to be afraid to leave the house. I mean,
right.
these people have repeatedly used their power to try to hide the fact that they allowed this abuse to continue. They repeatedly broke the law to try to pretend like I was crazy and schizophrenic because I was trying to turn them in because they didn't do their jobs as mandatory reporters. The help that I need with this computer stuff, I've been at this for 5 years. It's not like I haven't been making an effort. I've got a YouTube channel that is full of 4 years worth of effort, and that's just because I didn't start my YouTube channel until 4 years ago.
Right.
You know, I've got all of this evidence that I'm trying to show, and because there's nobody in my corner, there's nobody
Yeah.
actually
I did
there
finally
speaking
get that
out.
email, Sean. I just need to get on it and get those videos watched. So I just did want to let you know that.
Yes, ma'am.
So.
Well,
Go ahead.
I'm illegally prevented from even going to the courthouse because of the laws they broke already to hide their crimes. I mean, I've got documented evidence, and I'm trying to show it.
Why can't you go to the courthouse?
Because of a protection order that's BS that I was illegally prevented from going to.
Oh, jeez.
Like, this is a big story, and with everybody in my family ignoring me for the last 5 years, obviously I've needed help. I've needed help. I've needed help. Whenever somebody in family asks for my help, they get it. When people need help, I understand. They know what help they need better than I do. When I ask for help, it turns into an argument. Like that bullshit with mom. It's pretty obvious that she was just trying to be a shitty person. Now, then I got to deal with the fact that, well, anything that anybody else says must be the truth. I got Kimberly Vala Martinez treating me like crap, saying, your mom tried to help you. Did she? Did mom actually try to help me with any of this? I mean, the closest.
No.
Do what?
I mean, depending on what it was that you were needing help with that I'm aware of, no.
I tried to explain what was going on at Grandma's funeral. All she cared about was your dress and having normal kids.
Yeah.
I tried to talk to her once after that while Trinity was visiting, and Mom wanted to make a fucking show for Trinity. That argument was entirely unnecessary. And, you know, that's how Mom wins her arguments, is either A, she fucking talks over you the whole time, or B, she shits herself and says, see what you made me do? I've got irritable bowel syndrome. You made me shit my pants. At least she didn't do that at your house. That's the thing, is that all of these people want to go around slandering my name in a small town. The problem is I can't go anywhere. I can't go anywhere else. Yeah. I don't have anywhere else to go. And I've been trying to explain this. We need to get me a safe place and turn in the predators. And after, 5 years of trying to get me a safe place and not having representation, not having family in my corner, and obviously going to mandated reporters who are going to go out of their way no matter what to try to change the subject. And I'm sorry if that sounded slightly demonic. I was belching while speaking.
Right. I've been there a few times.
Yep. Now the situation with Marcia Estrada and Penny Cooper, the ladies that I was going to try to hook you up with to try to get you help. I mean, they're not going to. You can talk to them. Well, you're female. They might care. You're a mother, so they might care. I mean, those are two things that I definitely don't have.
Right.
But also, like, yeah, it's not that I'm not going to these people for help. It's that I keep getting blown off.
Right.
I've got
Yeah.
this mountain of evidence, and I keep getting called mentally ill as an excuse not to look at it. And that's the thing, is that I'm a human being. You would think that if mom actually cared about me as a human being, she would have spoke up and said, hey, this is wrong. But then again, she's not even willing to hear it or look at it.
Yeah. So the only one I got was for the one for Richard. What was the ones you were wanting me to look at?
I'll send you them. The thing
Okay.
about the one about Andrew and Amy Witcher,
Yeah.
like that shows that while they were supposed to be helping me, that
Oh.
they were busy
Oh,
doing
okay. So
drugs
those
by
are
their
okay.
own admission. It also
Uh-huh.
explains that Amy's oldest daughter told her that Andrew was molesting her.
Okay.
It also shows that she was aware of the meth use and that she was doing cocaine.
Okay.
Like, that's actual
All right.
evidence, and that does need to be turned in. That's something that it is mandatory to turn it in. I have tried to turn it in already. I am scared to go to the police, though, Tara, with what they've been doing. How can I not? You
Okay.
know, these are mandated reporters that I went to before Natalie was killed. They didn't do their jobs, and now she's dead. I went to mandated reporters, or tried to go to mandated reporters, like Lori Dale, when I was being abused in Clearview. And of course, I had to go record conversations with her after the fact because I didn't have any help at the time. I've gone to every mandated reporter I can. Candace Bondurant worked at a hospital.
Okay, so some of this, so it's been turned in at least once already?
No, it hasn't been turned in. I can't turn it in. It literally has been turned into all of these people the best that I'm able to do it.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, it hasn't been turned into the proper authorities. The evidence has to go to them. And how am I supposed to be able to sit down and go through such a complicated situation with thousands of pieces of paperwork when I'm constantly having to look over my shoulder and worry about the predators in this town? And if I'm in another town homeless, I have to worry about people being predatory towards me and getting away with it. I mean, I'm trying to get these people to look at the evidence, and every single one of them wants to redirect and say they can't. These are mandated reporters.
Okay. I gotcha.
And there's literally hundreds of mandated reporters that I've called. They're all mandated reporters. They all do the same thing. You try to turn in abuse, and they ignore you, say it's not their job, they can't do it, it's somebody else's job. You gotta move on, move on, move on, move along, let it go, let it go, let it go.
Right.
I don't get to let it go. And then every time that I'm trying to get help, I have to announce live on YouTube my intention of traveling somewhere else to get help, or my intention of going to somewhere else to get help from someone who has offered to help me. And then my predators get to look at that video and abuse their position of power to prevent me from doing exactly those things. What's that?
It's on Destiny. She's trying to get on YouTube when the Wi-Fi's not working right now, and it's not going to work with her just sitting there with it open.
You know, people kept telling me to go to the churches. I went to the churches for help. I got treated like shit by Mr. Nordyke. That wasn't okay.
Yeah.
That's the thing. People got all these great ideas of what I should do. I've tried them all. Without someone in my corner, I'm screwed. They can do whatever they want and railroad me and prevent me from speaking.
Well, the only thing I can actually do is go through it and, give my opinion on it and turn it in. Anything more than that, I can't really do anything other than that.
Well, you can do something other than that. I mean, I've been speaking out on my YouTube channel for 4 years. I've been on my YouTube channel for 4 years. You know, I mean, I've
Mhm.
been speaking out. I need someone to speak up for me because my voice, they did everything that they could to destroy my voice,
Mhm.
to destroy my credibility. And that's not okay. These are literally the mandated reporters that I went to for help are now committing felonies and have been committing felonies for 4 years to try to hide the fact that, yes, I went to them for help. You know, the situation with Cindy in housing, you know, it's not like
Mhm.
people weren't aware of what was going on with her. It's not like I was the only one who was trying to make a complaint. Like, that's the thing, is that when I get abused, I literally have to, I shouldn't have to break windows to try to get help. I shouldn't have to sit in the middle of the road in Chapel, Nebraska to try to get help. I
Mhm.
shouldn't have to chase down Officer Hahn for him to do his job. I'm not trying to show you opinions, I'm trying to show you facts. The fact
Right.
is, I told all of these people, and it is recorded. The fact is, no matter what, there was some excuse why it was okay to blow me off and ignore the abuse that I'm going through. I got to deal with people who were pretending like they were going to help me and just never did. I had to trust child molesters and drug dealers and alcoholics. Like, holy hell. Apparently, somebody's trying to ding me.
I heard it. It almost sounded like my phone was going off too. I was
Oh,
trying to
wow.
talk. I was talking to Ed, so.
All right, I just got a message from a guy. His ex is apparently still alive.
Ah,
Yeah, I had people getting a hold of me and being threatening assholes about Christine Buhit dying, and now it turns out that she had her phone number active in November.
oh.
So this is what, the third time she's played. You don't know Christine, but this is like
Oh,
the
yeah.
third time she's played dead.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, she's a fucking heroin addict, and she likes fucking playing for attention.
Ah.
She's one of the drug addicts I had to go to for help. She also
Ah.
destroyed a lot of evidence.
Oh, man.
Yeah, some help, right?
Yeah, right?
Kind of like going to Aunt B. Aunt B won't even admit that I went to her for help. Meanwhile, her name is all over a whole shit ton of my paperwork. I wonder how it got there. The things that I said were true. I said that these are the people that I went to for help before Natalie died. I've got evidence of it. Now, the problem is a lot of that evidence I can't show on YouTube and can't show on Facebook, you know, if it's got people's phone numbers and shit like that. Like, I've still got that letter that you wrote. You know, I mean, obviously,
Yeah.
when I read it, I didn't give out your phone number or any fucking creepy shit like that. But, you know, I mean, I've been showing people and proving to people that, yes, I went to people for help. I went to a lot of people for help. The things that I said were true. I mean, with Graham, I've got stuff that was written by him. But the problem is that the cops say, well, how do I know you didn't write that? How do I know you didn't write that? Well, you could call them, their number's on it. Let me read the one you wrote. I mean, like I said, I still have it. My name is Tara Hicks. I am having ankle surgery on the 16th of July. My brother Sean is helping me out till surgery and then 2 months after surgery. He is the only one close by that can help me out. If you need to talk to me about this more, please give me a call. I really don't have anyone else that can help me out doing stuff I can't do right now. I am limited to what I can do. And of course, you know, they wanted to lock me up on friggin' BS, deny me all of my rights. And of course, you had to deal with mom.
Yep.
That's probably the most fucked up thing about that situation.
Yep.
But the thing is, I'm telling true stories. I am honest. There's all these people that, you know, they're like,
Yep.
man, you're the most honest guy I know. Really? If I'm the most honest guy I know, why can't you speak up? Why can't you say, hey, this is wrong?
Let's see, Sean, what are you doing? I mean, I guess you're kind of stuck where you are.
Yeah.
I thought about coming and visiting, possibly tomorrow. Maybe go and get you some cigarettes since you can't get out. Green Destiny to see you and all. Oh, stop, Zena.
Yes, ma'am. Do you
Um,
think you'd be able, if you came here, do you think you'd be able to spend a couple hours helping me go through this?
I'll see what I can do.
There's a lady over, well, about halfway through the state, and she was going to help me. I actually bought her a computer so that she could help me. And with me not being able to go there now, I was going to pay her $20 an hour. I've been offering $20 an hour for somebody to help me since before Natalie was killed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I don't know how good I'll be, but I can try.
Well, you'd be better than nothing in your family. You can actually advocate. Right. You can actually speak up and say, hey, this is wrong. Why is it that all of these mandated reporters are making all of these excuses? The other thing is, a lot of the stuff that I can't post on YouTube, you can hear it and verify it.
Okay.
You know, there's an editor tool on YouTube that you can use to bleep out certain parts, and you know, like social security numbers and phone numbers. And I'm gonna sit down with that and try to learn how to do that. But again, I got literally thousands of conversations with witnesses. State of Nebraska, every single person that I went to and told about my abuse is a mandated reporter.
Okay.
Now, they've done everything that they can to illegally prevent me from going to court, from having my evidence. I mean, literally, Scott DaCosta, the guy I was trying to turn in, was able to illegally obtain all of the evidence against him and destroy much of it.
Okay.
And with all of that, like, yeah, somebody needs to say, hey, why is this okay? You know, somebody needs to call up the media and hound the fuck out of them.
Okay.
Somebody needs to call the Nebraska Attorney General's office and say, hey, you know, my brother is telling the truth. He's being honest. He's got the evidence. Instead of just stealing all of his evidence, maybe you should do something to actually help him. He does have disabilities. He is having issues with his disabilities. And here's the thing, Tara, like they've exploited my disabilities this whole time and tried to pretend I'm schizophrenic to make it okay.
Yeah.
You know, I've got some of my disabilities are electronic disabilities. I don't know how to do this stuff. I got to ask others, but without them in person, it just turns into a confusing mess.
Yeah. I really don't feel like leaving the house that long, but how about we do it on a Sunday where I don't have Destiny that long?
Well, here's the thing, Tara, is that they're trying to railroad me in court, and there's literally nothing that I can do about it. I need help filling out paperwork. There's a very short amount of time. It is one of my predators. She is getting special and preferential treatment because she works for the Dual County Sheriff I'm trying to turn in. You know, obviously,
like that. I don't know how well I'd be able to do that because half the time I don't even understand what I do when I'm doing court stuff, Sean.
Right, but that's the thing, is that I'm trying to explain to you that these are disabilities. These are obviously disabilities. It's obviously a disability that you have issues with too. Yeah. Obviously, somebody who is disabled and is unable to do these things for themselves, who has obviously been making an effort, and they want to write down that I'm not making an effort, that I'm not trying, making every excuse to pretend like I'm just some nut job who's randomly going out and screaming at the top of my lungs at strangers who never did nothing wrong. Like, no.
I'm wondering if I could get Ed to help us.
Tara, I'm scared to have Ed help us because I honestly,
Why?
Tara, I don't know if he's delusional, if he's trying to impress you, but I don't have time for his bullshit. Does that make sense?
Okay, fair enough.
I'm not going to sit there and listen to somebody talk to me about military drones for 20 minutes. It's just not going to happen.
Oh, he's no dummy, that's for sure.
You're right. He's not a dummy. He is highly intelligent, or reasonably intelligent compared to most. But at the same time, I mean, he doesn't exactly have the charisma that people are going to listen to. The other thing is, like, when family says, "Hey, this is not right," that's a big difference from family ignoring me for 5 years and saying, "I don't know, I don't know what to do. I don't know how to do anything. I don't know how to do any of this shit either, Tara, but I'm still trying to help you.
Yeah.
I don't know how to do these things, but I know that the things that you're saying that you have a problem with, instead of saying, I don't know blah 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 about insurance, I know that the solution is that you need insurance, you need money for
Right.
insurance."
Well, I do know that he's been to court enough times to know jibber jabber bullshit. So
That's the thing, is that he can't speak up for me. He's not family. You are.
right.
That's the thing about mom, I mean,
Yeah.
she's family. Now, she could try being a person and pretending that I am her son,
That ain't gonna happen.
right?
You know that ain't gonna happen. That's never gonna happen.
And that's the thing, is that's why, obviously I am an at-risk adult. Obviously I am being abused. Obviously that abuse is continuing because I'm being abused for being an at-risk adult.
Alright, so here. I'll see what I can do if when I come up on Sunday. Let's see what happens. If I'm not sure if I fully understand everything, then I'll see if I can get Ed to help.
Yes, ma'am.
If
The
all
thing
he
is,
does is talk about bullshit, I'll know. And then we'll do something else. How's that sound?
it sounds good, but I've got a very limited amount of time, Tara. They served me papers like day before yesterday, I think. And here's the thing. I mean, I'm trying to turn these people in for the crimes that they committed, and I shouldn't have to post their crimes all over the internet. I shouldn't have to show that I've gone to these mandated reporters and they didn't do shit. These mandated reporters should have done something to begin with. I mean, we've been focusing on the housing thing for 5 years. Once we get me into housing, then magically they can help me. So then I get into housing and they're not helping me, and it's eating up all of my money, and I'm still in an environment where I'm being abused or neglected.
Right. That's kind of all right. If I don't understand it, then I have to turn to somebody who I know understands it. That's what I'm saying.
Well, it's not difficult for some, Terry. It's not complicated to tell if somebody's doing something wrong, and that's the thing. Is
I
that
know that.
so? I need someone to actually speak up and say, "Hey, this is not okay." I need someone to actually make an effort to get my words out. I mean, I've tried every course of action short of being violent with people, and when people are violent with me, I don't get violent back.
Well, I know, Sean. It's kind of where I'm, well, not technically violent, but I'm to the point. That's why I asked Ed for help to deal with these people that are harassing me because of where I'm at. Like, he finally got proof that there's people bothering me. So there's that. Like, I had no one else to turn to until you came in, but I had already talked to him before I talked to you. So
And
that's what I'm saying.
I'm glad he's helping you. I'm glad that you're able to at least sort the bullshit, at least some of the bullshit from the stuff that he's actually able to help with. I mean, see,
Right.
that's the thing. I mean, sure, he's a bullshitter, and obviously it's not military drones trying to spy on your house. But, the other stuff, if he's able to help you out with it, he's got the technical skills,
Right.
that part is great. It's great that you have someone to help you with that. And, a lot of this stuff is that it's not that I'm not trying to turn it in, it's that they're
They're not
outright
letting you.
refusing to allow me to turn it in and then claiming that I didn't try, I didn't make an effort, it never happened, and so on and so forth.
Right.
I got to go through thousands of videos and thousands of recordings, and
Oh, I understand that one.
like I've probably got easily 200 to 300 recordings with mandated reporters. I mean, if I'd had somebody in my corner from the start who actually, instead of saying, well, I don't know what to do, speak up. When somebody is saying, hey, I'm being abused, and obviously that abuse is continuing, yeah, somebody in my family needs to speak up. I got to try to get a court date, but I can't go to the courthouse. The judge that I'm going to, he helped commit felonies to help these officers because I was trying to turn them in. And that's what all this is about. I've got mandated reporters who are committing felonies to try to hide the fact that they didn't do their jobs as mandated reporters. The recordings that I have show that I turned in the abuse that I was going through, and none of them took it seriously. The problem is, if they hem me up on BS again, like they did back in January when I was trying to turn them in, how is that going to help me? I mean, literally, they tried to push me to suicide while I was in prison. Obviously, I didn't commit any felonies. Obviously, they let me go right before court. Now, the thing with my autism advocate is she's really pulling punches. She knows that I record everything, and the punches that she's pulling now, the recordings that I have from earlier in it show that she's, well, at this point, she's being dishonest.
Well, that's kind of why I want to talk to Ed too, because he can help me with understanding the autism spectrum type thing, because he has, or his daughter has Asperger's of sorts. So that will help me to help you more. That's why I kind of want him on my side as well.
Yes, ma'am. And that's the thing. Like a lot of the stuff that you're going through, I mean, I want to help you, but I got to help myself. And then there's also the fact that,
yeah, we're both kind of homeless of sorts. So we're both kind of like in a fucked situation right now.
Yeah, there's also the situation of it's not like the people that we're staying with are going to exactly.
Yeah, right?
And don't get me wrong, the guy I'm staying with is a really great guy. I mean, he really is. He has put up with so much that he shouldn't have to,
Yeah.
He's obviously been pissed off more than once that the cops come over here, and he's voiced his opinion that they
harassing you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're abusing their power to prevent me from turning this evidence in.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I'm in a lot of fucking pain. Like
I hear you on that one.
There's a big difference between being paranoid because you're a schizophrenic and being paranoid because these things keep happening.
Exactly. Yes.
If people weren't burning your tarp.
Yep. That's why I finally took it off, because I got tired of it. Because it finally was starting to melt to the fucking camper. Like, yeah, I'm done with this shit. Then they got you fucking with the band so that it's not working right, and I can't prove any of the stuff that they're doing to it.
But here's the thing with a lot of the stuff that's going on. If you got to go in by yourself, chances are you're going to get blown off. If somebody goes in with you, it's a different story. However, at this point, because nobody went in with me to go speak to these mandated reporters,
And you go out.
like, they've gotten to break the law and twist and manipulate the law and the courts. I literally have to go to the same guys that blew me off repeatedly. Scott DaCosta can have all of these different departments around here take part in the harassment and the bullying and the teasing and the picking on me, and because nobody's there, it's fine.
Yeah.
There was nobody to speak up for me when I first went to prison. I was on the phone with my autism advocate. Now with her pulling punches, I've got to figure out how to use this YouTube app thing so that I can bleep out phone numbers and social security numbers so I can show that, number one, I was telling the truth the whole time along, and number two, yeah, she's either pulling her punches or her memory is fading. In either event, the fact that I recorded the situation, it shows that the actual evidence needs to be looked at instead of people's word of mouth.
Yeah.
The things that she's saying now because she wants to be non-committal are completely different from the things that she told me in the past.
Yeah.
Now, sure, maybe she's having memory issues, and she's got stuff that in her life, yeah, I can understand that. She's got her own life that she's dealing with, but at the same time, like I only had to go to drug dealers and child molesters and rapists because none of these mandated reporters would do anything. My friends kept blowing me off. My family kept blowing me off. I mean, if you need help, you need help. And instead of continually saying, I don't know what to do, you know what? I don't know what to do either. I've tried everything by myself. Most of these things are the things that I'm told to do, and I try them and they don't work.
Yeah.
Who's going to make them give a shit about homeless people? Obviously, it's illegal for them to do it, but who cares?
One.
I try to turn in the abusers in real life. I have to. Obviously, I have to be afraid of the Dual County Sheriff's Department. Obviously, I have to now be afraid of the Nebraska State Patrol. I have to be afraid of any of these places that I had to contact alone because they didn't do their jobs. There is nothing to stop them from breaking the law further to hide the fact that they broke the law.
Yeah.
Now, there's a thing up here. Let me click it. It's on my. I've looked it up before. I'm sorry, my mouth is dry. Mandated reporters in Nebraska. Nebraska state law requires that any person who believes a child has been or is being abused or neglected make a report. The identity of the person who made the report is confidential and cannot be released. State law also requires that all reports that meet the definition of abuse and neglect are assessed. The problem is I can't get them to look at the evidence. They tell me I got to write police reports. I write as many police reports as I possibly can. But if I'm writing police reports to the predators I'm trying to turn in, obviously it's not going to go anywhere.
All right.
And I got to deal with Judge Randon Rowland, who I'm trying to turn in for his judicial misconduct because he illegally assisted my predators in removing evidence that showed their wrongdoing. Like, that's literally what me and Meg were working on when I was arrested back in January. Turning in Robert Warnick, turning in Scott DaCosta, and turning in Leslie Snell. And don't get me wrong, I like Leslie. I think that her husband, Clint, is great,
Yeah.
But the thing is, like, I drove by Clint about I don't know, it might have been a couple of months ago now. Obviously, he saw me. Obviously, he knew who I was, and he waved at me. I saw her twin sister Lynn at Pumpkin Pantry, and she waved at me too.
Mhm.
You know, the other thing is, like, let's say I see Lynn, and Lynn doesn't have a problem with me, or maybe she does, I don't know. But if she's waving at me, are you going to wave at somebody that you don't like? Are you going to wave at somebody that you have an issue with?
Right.
So let's say Lynn comes up and talks to me. It's not like in high school where Leslie had, short hair and Lynn had long hair, and it was easy to tell the difference.
Yeah.
The only way that I can tell the difference now is that Leslie's got a mole on the side of her nose.
Yeah.
So, if I get approached by Lynn and she wants to talk to me, I have to be afraid because I don't know which one it is from a distance.
Yeah.
The other thing is, it's not Lynn's fault.
Yeah. Yep.
There's all these things that they do to the poor to prevent us from turning them in. I'm glad you at least got that camper trailer thing. That thing is tiny. It's broken down. It's definitely, you shouldn't have to live in that.
Yeah. But at least it's something. Before I was actually in my car, so.
Yeah. And that's the thing. Like, I've lived in my car, almost nonstop there for a while. When you're living in your car, you get harassed by the cops all the time because you're living in your car. You got
Yeah.
all your stuff in the car, so you stick out like a sore thumb.
Yep.
And then when they come and talk to you, it's just you, so they can violate your rights. It's not like anybody cares.
Yeah.
They did some wrong stuff, the cops did, in the situation with Rihanna there in Wyoming, but then they were able to steal my evidence that showed what they did to me and how they treated me and how inhumane it was. And meanwhile, all of this was because they wouldn't do anything about Rihanna beating on Amy's kids.
Yep. Yep. Well, Sean, I am actually going to get off here. I'd love to talk to you longer, but I have to go get us dinner stuffs and other stuffs from Walmart because Destiny needs a hat and gloves because
Yes,
of the
ma'am.
snow. So I will yak at you later, and we will plan for something on Sunday.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Tara.
So, yep,
I love you. Be
definitely.
safe, all right?
Yep, you too.
Bye.
All right. Bye.
All right, let's read these few comments. Wilma Dickfit wrote, "Hello, sir." The Church of Four typed hello again. Wilma Dickfit typed, "Tell your sister I said hello." Page B typed hello. Then there's a little spam thing. We know what to do with spam. Hide user on this channel. Pretty easy. Daniel Svijanovic typed, "What happened in prison that they were trying to make you kill yourself?" They were denying me all of my rights. They were even denying me the rights of a convicted felon because I'm not a convicted felon. I'm a county safekeep, literally the sheriff of this town, who I've been trying to turn in since 2018. Worked together with several other people I was trying to turn in. Outright lied, misled the truth, falsified evidence. So while I was in the jail, they kept on harassing me and bullying me, telling me, if you didn't do anything wrong, you wouldn't be here. They're bullies. That's what is hired there. They don't care about you. You are not a human being. It's a warehouse. And every single person in that warehouse pulls taxpayer dollars. It's job security. They kept on denying me the right to talk to my advocate. They kept on denying me the right to use the telephone. They kept on assaulting me. They kept on egging other inmates into harassing me pretty much nonstop. And I could go through a whole bunch of the people that worked there and things that they did, like Corporal Bundy. I don't know why they give these asshats military ranks. They're not in the military. They're fucking punks. They're not even weekend warriors. And then, of course, there's Corporal Blue the Fifth. And God, like in my notes over there, let me show you what I'm working with here. That right there is a whole shit ton of evidence that I had to dig out last night and go through. The videos are on here. Daniel typed, in my experience as a prisoner, 95% of staff are neutral and decent. The 5% are assholes to everyone. Well, he must have gone to the nicest facility in the planet. 95% of the staff. That means only 1 out of 20 staff is an asshole. Daniel, how many of those 95% of the staff become assholes when you try to turn in those assholes who are breaking the law? Several of the staff members that I was in there with lost their jobs because they were having sex with inmates. They were also bringing in drugs, obviously in their vaginas. They were also bringing in telephones, obviously. Well, I don't need to repeat that, do I? Fuck it. We're going to show his messages. You typed LOL. Yeah, that stuff happens. It does. One of the ladies there that I tried to turn in repeatedly for her abuses towards me, she lost her job for exactly that. Now, by law, she was supposed to be charged as a sex offender. Somebody who is in prison cannot consent to sex. I got this other guy. I'm going to read what he messaged me to. This guy was supposed to, he was going to provide me with a place to stay over in Georgia so that I could be closer to Amanda and possibly she might be able to help. But if not, at least I would be able to see my friend. Obviously, I can't see her from here. And the last time that he had sent me a message was September 3rd of 2021, apparently. No, that was the last message I sent him. The last one he sent me was September 2nd, 2021. And then his profile went blank. Now, the things that he's telling me don't exactly line up because of his profile going blank. Like, that pretty much says that he shut it down for a while. Now, if he was arrested, he can't shut it down. He's incarcerated. How is he going to shut it down from there? Maybe he did it on his phone real quick as he was being arrested. I don't know. He types, "Hey, bud, man, I'm sorry I haven't gotten back to you. I had a customer accuse me of stealing something out of their car, and I got locked up. Well, the case got dismissed, but probation officer tried to revoke my probation and wouldn't let me out of jail. So I had to take it to court because since the case got dismissed, how did I violate my probation? I can't help that someone lied on me and had me arrested, but they don't look at that. They just look at me having a run in with the law. But that probation officer just had something against me for no reason. How are you doing, by the way?" I wrote, "I'm in hell. Dude, can you do me two giant favors?" He typed, "I can try." He typed that at 3:17. Of course, I was already typing the stuff that I needed help from him, so it got sent at 3:18. Literally 1 minute after he typed "I can try," I typed, "I have a YouTube channel where I speak out. If I give you my number, can you call me, tell your story, and explain what you were trying to do for me before this happened?" And he hasn't even seen it. It was literally 1 minute later, and he hasn't even seen it. I got PTSD from abuse, but I also got PTSD from trying to get help. Neglect is abuse. Every single one of my court dates, I was denied the rights of a human being. I was denied the rights of the Constitution. I was denied the right to speak in my own defense. I was denied the right to face my accusers. I was denied the right to show evidence, and I was denied the right to counsel. If a public pretender does not do their job, that is not counsel. If the judge won't let you fire your public pretender who is not doing their job, knowing full well that that person has not done their job, is repeatedly not shown up to court, and you as a judge are going to allow that, you are going to allow the predators that I'm trying to turn in to press false charges. You are going to turn over the evidence of their abuse to those exact officers. And that's exactly what's been happening here. People say you shouldn't post it on the internet. Why shouldn't I? Is Marcia Estrada going to show up in court? Is she going to explain to them that I'm not schizophrenic? Is she going to admit to them that I have gone to them about the abuse? Is she going to explain to them that she knows Jen Beebe? And Jen Beebe was just piss poor at her job and fucking lazy. You think she's going to go actually admit that in court? She should. I shouldn't have to post it on YouTube here, but it is on my YouTube here. Because after 3 months of this bullshit, the housing thing, housing. Yes, we do need to get me a safe environment away from these predators. But we also have to do something about the crimes that were already committed, because those crimes prevent me from having an honest court date. Meanwhile, If I was a woman, it wouldn't take 5 fucking minutes. People wouldn't say, I don't know what to do. Yes, the fuck you do. What would you do if this happened to a child? What would you do if this happened to a woman? Why aren't you doing those things? Because you're a fucking sexist. I did right by trying to turn these predators in. But these predators get away even with insurmountable evidence. I sent my sister a whole file full of screenshots with me and 2 of the predators that my mother is helping. But I got to worry about them breaking the law to prevent me from turning that shit in because they broke the law. They are literally helping child molesters to get away because these mandatory reporters didn't do their jobs. Obviously, that conversation with them officers in Rawlins, Wyoming, I'm literally telling them that there is evidence of child abuse in my vehicle, and they did everything in their power to separate me from that and to separate me from the recording of how they treated me. It's not that I haven't tried, it's that rather than trying, people keep saying, I don't know what to do. I can't do nothing. I can't do nothing. At least she's going to try coming here to help me. Maybe. At the same time, I am prevented from doing these things for myself. What, if you look away, does that magically mean that I didn't try to turn it in? No, it means you looked away. The same thing that Penny's doing. I had to deal with that almost everywhere that I went. We're going to ignore the abuse. Oh, I'm just trying to get you housing. Well, I'm trying to get help stopping the abuse, including the abuse that prevents me from getting back into housing. You got to hear from Marcia Estrada. Obviously, yeah, there have been more than one issue with Cindy and Nancy in the past. And yes, Nancy has knowingly gone out of her way to protect Cindy Taylor, who didn't do her job. When I moved into low income up here, I had several months where I had a broken refrigerator. They knew it was a broken refrigerator. The 80-year-old lady who lived next door said, yeah, I got a new refrigerator. The one that I had didn't work. So they moved it out of my apartment and moved it into yours. And then they moved me into that apartment. The refrigerator doesn't work. I get a very limited amount of money to be able to actually spend on food. And all of my food spoils in my fridge because these people broke the law. Because these people didn't do their jobs. But more importantly, the paperwork that I was trying to get from them. I've got the where I'm to explain to her all of this stuff that I was trying to get this paperwork, but then I've also got many, many, many more recordings where I'm trying to tell her what's going on, and she is stopping me to interrupt me to tell me about all of her personal problems, and then she doesn't want that all over the internet. I get that. I do care about your personal problems. I really do. I do care that those prevent you from helping me. I understand if you're all the way in Lincoln, you can't help me in person. The things that I was told before Natalie died, when I didn't have the ability to record this shit, it's the exact same shit that I have recorded them saying since. Let's see. Daniels Vijanovic typed many different facilities. Each one had an asshole or two, and none of them had a lot. Well, yeah, that happens a lot. I recall a while back you turned someone in who had assaulted you, and the dude was arrested. No, he wasn't. No, he wasn't. I was arrested for trying to turn him in because he claimed I was stalking him. The dude was not arrested. I was. And when I got out of prison, he didn't go to jail. There were no consequences for him, and he assaulted me again. He wanted to shake my hand. Then he wanted to squeeze it and not let go. Right outside a pump and pantry. Imagine my surprise. I get out of the vehicle. I just parked. I look down. I put it in park, pull up my parking brake, and I get out of the vehicle, and the dude's right fucking there. Let's see. Daniel Savanovich types, what you're trying to turn in is very confusing and hard to follow. It doesn't seem like most of it is criminal. Dude, that's the thing. Everybody is a fucking pocket lawyer with their goddamn ignorance. Assaulting someone is against the law. Stalking someone is against the law. Now, the way that he assaulted me literally right outside of this house, of course, that's a lot different than trying to squeeze my hand till it breaks. I mean, you look at the camera, we're just shaking hands. The fact is, there should have been a protection order against Robert Warnick. He's friends with Leslie Snell. Leslie Snell works for Scott DaCosta. Scott DaCosta, before Natalie died, on more than one occasion about the threats, harassment, and assaults that I was receiving. Says your connection is unstable. Please wait while we try reconnecting. And then we got some douche down here calling themselves GG types. I don't care. Why were you stalking him? I was the one stalked, asshole. But the thing is, when you have to go to dirty cops that know that you're trying to turn them in, and you have to go to them for help because none of these other agencies that you're told to go to are going to do anything. They all want to say it's not their job, it's not their job, it's not their job. Nebraska State Patrol wanted to pretend it wasn't their job until I was assaulted by one of their deputies. Of course they want the fucking evidence after that. But they weren't willing to work with me on it. They just wanted to put all of my evidence in the back of one of their vehicles and drive off with it. Sure, these things are illegal to do to a person, but not if you don't fucking care. They tried charging me with stalking and disrupting government operations because I was calling them, trying to turn in Scott DaCosta. Nebraska State Patrol said that it's not their job to police the police, that I needed to call the Dual County Sheriff's Department. I called the Dual County Sheriff's Department. They told me they can't investigate themselves. I got to call Nebraska State Patrol. I called Nebraska State Patrol. They again said that they can't police the police. I got to turn it into Dual County Sheriff's Department. So I call up Dual County Sheriff's Department again. They tell me they can't investigate themselves. I got to turn it into the Nebraska State Patrol. This has been going on for 5 fucking years. Now we're going to take this dumb bitch here, Gigi. I don't know if it's a dude or a woman. I don't fucking care. I'm not dealing with fucking trolls and stalkers on my goddamn page today. Hide user on this channel. You know what the great thing about hiding user on this channel? You know what the great thing about that option is? Later on, I can go back and, well, actually, I just realized there was somebody on my page just the other day who I accidentally blocked them. You know, they're pretty close together, and I clicked the wrong one and blocked it. So then when I unblocked that person so that they could actually comment, their messages had all been deleted. It actually deletes them, which is why, you know, obviously taking photographic evidence of it is important. Daniel Vujanovic types, is it a physical assault by cops that you have been trying to turn in or something else? Both. Physical assaults, repeated physical assaults for trying to turn them in for not doing their jobs as mandated reporters. Now, here's the thing. If they had just admitted that they didn't do their jobs as mandated reporters, they might have just gotten a slap on the wrist. But by breaking the law, they get to prevent themselves from the 6 months and $1,000 fine that it is for a mandated reporter not to turn this shit in. And you know what? You think it's confusing? Imagine how confusing it is for me when they keep changing the law back and forth, back and forth. Oh, this is legal. Oh, no, now it's illegal. Oh, now it's legal. Oh, now it's illegal. Oh, now it's legal. Now it's illegal. Mandated reporters do apply to physical assaults and abuse. That's the thing, is that these are mandated reporters. But you know what, Daniel? I'm not going to argue about your ignorant bullshit. Okay, I'm just not going to waste my fucking time with you. I'm not. Your thoughts and fucking opinions don't make a goddamn bit of difference. They don't. You don't think this and you don't think that. Obviously, you're not thinking. Look it the fuck up. Fuck your opinions. Look it up. I'm not trying to be an asshole, but at this point, you're being an asshole. I don't give a fuck what you think if you're not willing to look it up. And that's not entirely true. I do care what you think. I am being abused over what people like you think. Yes, assaulting someone is against the law. Threatening to murder people is against the law. When somebody is trying to turn in a law enforcement officer and they pull up a bunch of fake ass goddamn crimes that were never committed, yeah, that's against the fucking law. And they've gotten away with it this entire time by calling me mentally ill and pretending I'm schizophrenic. So here, we'll pop up a video here. Marcia. This is your video. We'll pause this. This is conversation with Marcia Estrada. Janelle 09. Oh, she wrote 2 of them. We'll show the first one too. Of course it's complicated. No, nobody on the planet understands it the way I do because nobody on the planet has sat down with me. That's why I have mountains of evidence instead of just the backpack that I started off with on December 28th of 2017 when I went in to talk to the officers that were investigating Natalie's case. It was just a backpack. By the way, there was a computer that was full of evidence that I never got back. I never should have had to make these phone calls without someone there and present. I get that these people don't want to be on the internet. I didn't want to be all over the internet either. I needed help stopping the abuse, and mandated reporters were blustering me with bullshit. I got into housing. It didn't stop the fucking abuse. Let's see. Janelle typed, he isn't being an asshole, though. Not once has Daniel been an ass. No, he's seriously being an ass. Look it up, all right? I'm tired of starting over because you assholes who aren't going to do a goddamn thing to help me. Obviously, you're not going to do a goddamn thing to help me. I'm trying to show the truth. You want to argue. Fuck your arguments and fuck your opinions. He shared info and respectfully given his opinion. You know what? That's fine. He's not sharing any actual useful info. He's just giving opinions. Mandated reporting applies to anyone who is trying to turn in abuse who is at risk, whether that be a child or an adult. The elder laws are modeled the same as the child abuse laws. If you are disabled, you fall under the elder laws. Now, obviously, between arguing with a bunch of ignorant assholes and moving on and continuing my work, it's probably better to continue on trying to do my work. This channel is because I'm trying to get help stopping the abuse, help turning in my predators. So here's the thing. I'm going to respectfully read their opinions. Janelle09 typed, Daniel, exactly. If they witness abuse, they are mandated to report, like if a kid comes to school bruised or says something happened, etc. You're right. Janelle typed, it's sad what happened to you over her case. Absolutely ridiculous. Our system is a money game that the majority can't afford. It's sad. It's not just sad. We can do something about it. I see a lot of people whining, and then I see BLM actually doing something. The sad thing is, BLM isn't fighting for my rights. We need to do something about the abuse, not make it more illegal for them to abuse black people. They've already done that. Those laws already exist. They have remade the same exact laws since the 1950s and 60s. They did it again in the 70s and the 80s and the 90s. The thing is that making it illegal does not make these people do their jobs. It doesn't make them actually do their jobs. If it's illegal, but the cop doesn't care because he doesn't like black people, how can you make him do his job, especially in a state where you don't have to turn on your body cameras, where you can select whether or not it's on or off based on whether you as an officer are going to commit a crime right now or whether you are going to try to do the pretendy sleight of hand thing and go, oh, well, see, I was trying to help him. When's the first time that I sat down with an officer to try to explain about the abuse I was enduring in this town? I sat down with Cody Selhorst in 2018 about the abuse in this town. We concluded it by him buying me a sandwich and calling it good. Here's the problem with police being allowed to do that, is that any time that there is no witness there in your corner and there is no camera on and no recording device on, it's your word versus theirs, which is why I record everything. Yes, I went to these mandated reporters over the abuse before Natalie was ever killed. That's the thing. I mean, Janelle, according to her understanding, she's right. Her understanding is wrong. She doesn't have all of the information. And that's much of the issue with what I had. I didn't have all of the information. I've got people catfishing me. I've got people that are gaslighting me. I've got the Bollinger family trying to basically instigate violence against me on all of these so-called Natalie Bollinger groups. I've posted up the evidence repeatedly that shows that I was not stalking Natalie in Virginia. The things that she was trying to claim happened, some of them did. Sort of. Like a lot of the things that she wrote down in that final post to slander my name and pretend like I was stalking her, did she bother to write down that those are things that she had asked me to do? Did she show you guys the hundreds of messages with us before that where I am literally sidestepping her trying to confess her love for me? And she typed, I love you a lot. That I am okay with. Natalie and I weren't friends before she became an adult. She was an unsupervised minor who was selling drugs for her dad. That's how we met. And I didn't know it until years later. All I knew is that at the time she was hanging out with dangerous people. I had spoken to the cops about it. Well, and specifically about her friend Maddie Boa, the one who spread all of the rumors that I have been repeatedly assaulted over in Boulder before Natalie was ever killed. All I wanted to do is go see my loved ones and be left alone. And after 5 years of this, it's pretty obvious that's not going to happen. People don't like that I post on Facebook and YouTube. I shouldn't have had to. Let's see, Daniel Savanovich, we're supposed to watch 55 hours of ranting because you can't answer simple questions. Sure, that'll happen. That is not respectful. Yes, 55 hours worth of me telling you what happened, but instead of 55 hours of ranting, why don't you look at the actual conversations with the witnesses? Oh yeah, you're not going to do that. You're just going to be an ass. Janelle typed, yes, It's for all vulnerable people. Exactly. Obviously, she did look it up. Obviously, someone did actually look it up. Of course, it's not that difficult. In my last video, I was reading the stuff. Janelle typed, what are BLM doing? Burning stuff down, LOL? You know what? Some of them are. Some of them aren't. Some of them are throwing firecrackers at homeless people. They're certainly not doing anything for our rights. They're trying to get special rights. Special rights specifically for black people to make it more illegal to do things that are already extremely illegal. It is more illegal for a police officer to kill a black man than it is for him to kill a white man. It is more illegal. It's already illegal to commit murder. Now it's more especially illegal if the person is black. It doesn't matter without enforcement. Instead of allowing these people to antagonize the situation, I needed someone there in person to help me turn this in. Somebody who was willing to take a look at it. Janelle typed, many towns don't have body cameras at all, only dash cams, but many cry harassment when they're a female or racism, etc., when it actually the cop was just an ass and you committed a crime. But you don't have to commit a crime. That's the thing. They have a badge. If they want to turn off their body camera and arrest you on bullshit or instigate the situation, they absolutely can do it, and they absolutely can get away with it. Now, assuming that someone committed a crime, well, trying to turn in an officer who is ignoring crimes is not a crime. Daniel typed, you've made about 30 videos this week, yet you can't ever make one pinned 50-minute video coherently explaining your whole story. My story, dude, you stupid motherfucker. Look at that shit. You think I can sum up 5 years of abuse across the entire goddamn country in 50 fucking minutes? That's why I post up the evidence, actual evidence. That conversation that I posted up there, that's with Marcia Estrada. It's proof that I've been telling the truth. If you're too stupid to understand that, and the way that you type, that I am barely able to do you know that when I make these videos, when I am speaking out on these videos, it's because I can't function. This is literally all I can do is speak about it. And yes, a lot of times it does become a rant. It becomes a rant because I am highly emotional about the way that I've been treated and about how people keep making every excuse to look the other way. I need someone in person to help me go through all of this. But I can barely function because I don't know if I am going to have a place to stay tomorrow or the next day. I don't have a safe environment to exist in. But at the same time, we're spending all of this time on the housing. Fine, I'm jumping through the hoops for you on housing. I am filling out the paperwork with you. I am going to my appointments. And yet here I am, still here. Everybody's bullshit that they want to throw on the homeless is move along, move along, move along. We don't want you here. You're not human enough for us to do anything other than harass you to leave. And that's somehow magically okay? There is a big difference between wanting someone to leave and actively breaking the law to intimidate someone to leaving who is trying to turn you in. Walter, get off my papers. Good boy. Good boy. Posting the evidence, Daniel Savanovich types, just drowns anyone who might be interested in helping you. No, it doesn't. No, it fucking doesn't. None of you are interested in helping me. You're interested in arguing and opinions. All right? The help I need is in person, someone to go through this evidence. Somebody who is not on fucking drugs. Somebody who is not fucking drunk. I saved my streaming for YouTube. Let's see. I know that comment was in regards to what was saying at the time. I absolutely know there's bad cops. Thank you, Janelle. Janelle type, they pick and choose what crimes they care about. It's only those without money who end up paying the price. You're right. It cost over $100,000 for them to lock me up in prison for misdemeanors that didn't even happen. And of course, while you're locked up, if you ain't got the money for bail, you don't get to get a hold of witnesses. You don't get to get a hold of your evidence. Your public pretender isn't going to do anything. And you can't even record the fact that your public pretender isn't going to do anything. No matter where I went, they told me it was not their job, not their job, not their job. Janelle09 typed, he means it once, and I get what he's saying. It confuses us. That's the thing, is that I don't want to post up a whole bunch of videos at once. I get that there's a lot on here. I get that it makes it difficult to understand it all. That's the problem about somebody who is autistic being forced into a nonstop situation like this. I can barely function because I'm scared, because I don't have help, and they can railroad me because I don't have help. Please look at the evidence. You guys can't because you're long distance. That's pretty obvious to anyone with half a brain. You can't come here and physically look at the evidence. Now, of course, that's not what the cops would write, is it? What do they write down? That I wasn't trying to get help. Let's see. Daniel typed, we have no frame of reference for your evidence. You need to tell a short, simple version that covers the key points. You haven't even tried. I absolutely have fucking tried, dude. That's the thing, is that you are making baseless assumptions and accusations. I am trying. Every video that I have, I try. Key points. I was assaulted by multiple officers over a 5-year period. Over the death of Natalie Bollinger and the fact that I was illegally prevented from turning these people in. He types, how much was your bail? It doesn't matter. I didn't have any way to post it. Janelle09 typed, absolutely, they're pretenders. I swear they actually working for the prosecution side. Exactly. There is no incentive for them to do their job. They get paid either way. Matter of fact, there is plenty of incentive for them not to do their job because they don't want to piss off a judge or they want to be friends with the prosecutors. Interpersonal dynamics do come into play in all of this. Seen or unseen, they still come into play. Someone named Cassie Rager typed, or they don't care. They don't. Of course they don't care. They're getting paid either way. What reason do they have to do their job if there's no way to make them do it? There's no way to enforce it. If they do something illegal or immoral, you can't prove it. You're in jail, so you can't even record it. Then it's your word versus theirs. They absolutely did help the prosecution. Now, there's also a lot of stuff I'm not sure what I'm even allowed to say as far as my court crap goes. But I do know that telling the truth here on my YouTube channel is the only chance I've actually got. The reason that I post up the conversations with the witnesses is because, yeah, it's a big fucking mess. And as long as I'm stuck in a constant state of panic over this, over not knowing where I'm going to live, over people throwing me away if I tell the truth, people that I went to for help that are mandated reporters, yes, they do have to investigate it. They do have to turn it in. But if they refuse to look, then magically they've committed no crime. Anyway, I need to go down to the ashtray downstairs and get a few more cigarette butts. It's nasty smoking, it really is. It tastes gross. Cigarettes are just, ugh. Smoking it when it's a week old out of an aluminum foil pipe is even grosser. I've been trying to turn in assaults, threats, judicial misconduct. See, all of the threats and harassment from before Natalie died from people like Tim Beeson and others. I mean, these are Natalie Bollinger's druggy friends. For the last 5 years of trying to get help, I've been denied all of that help by these people calling me mentally ill and loosely associating it with schizophrenia. Therefore, everything that I say must be a lie or I must be imagining it. That's the way they look at it. Now, the things that I've been trying to explain, I've posted up videos with these witnesses, but the thing is, like right now, I'm fucking frazzled. I realize you got questions, but when I have to start over all the time to re-explain it to somebody who is brand new to this channel, and then I get, well, why do you keep repeating yourself? Obviously, there's a bunch of people that didn't hear me the first time, and obviously you're new, so you want me to start over, and I have to start over from scratch, from the very beginning, which I have tried to do. Let me show you a phone full of evidence. So to make Daniel happy, oh, I hear car doors. I'm gonna do my best to make a video about each of the 4 predators that I was trying to turn in. This right here is the phone that Robert Warnick broke. That's destruction of property. He broke it while assaulting me. He had no right to assault me. I dug out the paperwork last night. See, that's the thing, is that there's a lot to go through. I got all of this stuff packed up so that I could go to the other end of the state and do this. I'm trying to do it myself here. What he's asking me to do, I'm obviously trying to do that. But the other thing is, it doesn't matter how much of this I go through or how many police reports I write. I've got evidence that I've written police reports about. Literally, you guys want to pretend like I'm being vague. No, I'm not. The same crimes over and over again. Same protocol, different department. You try to turn in a cop, this is what they do. When a cop does something wrong and you tell on him, and then you have to turn in crimes to him after that, he's not going to do his job. I've got evidence of this in multiple counties, multiple states, with multiple officers. And then I've got my paperwork where they outright lie. They outright lied in order to, well, in order to have me locked up for 7 months so I couldn't turn in the assault by Scott DaCosta. So I couldn't turn in the threats, harassment, and assault by Robert Warnick. Again, I gotta say. And so that I couldn't turn in Leslie Snell for attempting to give out my phone number to God and everybody on YouTube, knowing full well that it is on YouTube, knowing full well what she was doing, having already been involved in situations previously where she knew that I was having problems with restricted calls and harassment because people wanted to give out my phone number. And here she is, literally, I'm telling her, you don't need to verify my number. You know I have to record these things live. The narrative that they're playing is not the same as the truth. Now, the problem with separating all 4 of these predators into separate cases and separate videos for y'all is that, well, it's still incredibly complicated because all their names are on everybody else's paperwork. It's fucking nuts. Cassie Rager typed, sound like you have put in a lot of effort that could have been better spent on other activities like becoming involved, like an advocacy group. Holy shit. People got lots of ideas after 5 minutes. Cassie Rager, you know, everybody's got opinions. Those opinions don't get help. I should have been better spent on other activities like becoming involved, like an advocacy group. With all due respect, I've been trying. You've got all sorts of ideas of things that I've already done. Telling me to do something that doesn't work, again, isn't going to make it work. I've got legal issues that I need help taking care of. My predators are in law enforcement. All they have to do to prevent me from turning them in is trump up another bullshit charge. Leslie Snell attempted to create a safety issue, knowing that she was creating a safety issue. And when I tried to turn her in to the Nebraska State Patrol, she trumped up false charges. And she worked together with my other predators in law enforcement, because she works for them, to illegally prevent me from going to court. If you have someone arrested on false charges to prevent them from turning you in, you are committing a felony.